What is up? What is up, gang? Welcome. This is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, coming to you live on this Saturday night. Feeling all right. Dogecoin at about 28 cents. Can't complain. Pretty good trajectory going on for sure. Can we hit that 3-0, the big 3-0 tonight? I certainly think it's in the cards. It's certainly probable. I think it's very doable. Who do we got up in here? Folks are starting to come in. Dogecoin tweet, Mr. Zero, Fox, Brad, what is up? Larry Ramirez, what is up? Alvin, GameStar, Shock Rocks, Joshua, welcome. Beef Supreme, welcome. Diversive Gamers, welcome. Vampire Kangaroo, welcome. Sushi Sniper, welcome. Now, Sushi Sniper coming in with one of my taglines, says the Real Deal Steven Steele. Take the time to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime. That's what I always say. If you haven't hit that like button, takes a minute, takes a split second of your time, doesn't cost you a dime. That's right. Gavin, welcome. Gustavo, Kyle, Pink, Tuba, Zion Montoya, Lord Dadbod just checking in there. Poor Man Trading, Alex Walsh, Dogecoin Worldwide, Stupid Explorer, Erectile Reptile, Cody. All right, guys, and they keep coming in. All right. Excellent, just excellent. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. A fun show lined up for you tonight. Again, we just got a lot of awesome stuff to cover. If I could ask for you, a small favor as we just getting going here. If you're on Twitter, if you would consider retweeting the stream, I'm going to pop the link to that tweet to the stream. If you have a Twitter, if you'd consider just RTing it, it really does help get the word out. So I'm just going to pop that in there. What is up? Wiling Out. Welcome back. Awesome. Good to see you guys. We're just going to wait about just one more minute and let people just circulate in here, and then we will begin. RT it up, my friends. RT it up. Get the word out. You are the core. We are the core. All right. Welcome, Lux Doge, Jamie Reynolds. The basket, nice. There we go. At this time, I'd like to bring in my regular first guest for the night, Mr. Nick Balls, the Dogecoin millionaire. Nick, happy Saturday.
Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, right on. So, how was your Saturday?
It was pretty good. I had a okay leg workout and went to dinner with my dad. Didn't have anything super great because, of course, I'm dieting right now, so I basically feel like crap all day and pretty low energy. But yeah, no. Other than that, I'm good.
Are you on like a real kind of strict, kind of low carb, protein, vegetable kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that's what I'm on right now too.
High protein, high fat, low carb.
Yep.
I got 6 weeks to go, so just cruising it out.
Yeah, I'm on a strict, no fun diet. Well, I shouldn't say that entirely. I mean, after a while, your palate kind of resets itself, and then, once you wean yourself off all that sugar and stuff like that, then your palate just kind of retrains, and then, the protein and veggies taste just fine.
I'm like a dog. I will eat. I do. I eat the same thing every single day for 12 weeks to get in shape, and I've been doing it for 7 years now. So
wow,
it's nothing new to me.
That's awesome, man. That takes a heck of a lot of discipline. I have to actually, because of my health issues, I have to actually be on a kind of that strict kind of paleo kind of thing for a while. And I tell you, that first month was brutal. As the blood sugar levels are resetting, and I went through a lot of fatigue before your body learns to burn off of fat, and you know the process. You're obviously no stranger to the ketosis and whatever. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I'm finally adapting now and getting in a groove, and yeah. So, welcome, guys. Good to see you guys. So the theme for tonight is Dogecoin to $1 and beyond. Dogecoin to $1 and beyond. So we're going to talk about if that's doable, if so, when, and what factors are at play that would cause it on its journey to get to that dollar, and if we can maybe take it beyond there, and what that would look like.
I actually, Stephen, just received a interesting piece of insider information, completely unconfirmed, but I did just read this, and it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, you want to forward it to me? Or just, okay.
I'll let everybody know.
Okay, go ahead.
I tried to actually find it again, and it looks like it has been or was deleted. Who knows? This could just be all speculation. But it did come from the of Wall Street Bets, so you never know. He claims that tonight a multi-billionaire individual just tonight placed a $1 billion short position on Doge.
Yeah, I'm getting, yep, keep going. I'm just getting it now, so I'm laughing. Okay, keep going.
At $1.01. Now that is very interesting for a few reasons, because to open a short position at $1.01 would cost this gentleman quite a bit of money every day that it does not reach that $1.01 level. And he is planning for a massive rejection at the $1.01 level, hence the short position. What this means, it means that $1 could be coming sooner than we anticipated. And it means what I've been telling everyone this entire time, that there is going to be a tremendous amount of resistance at $1.
Right.
Now, if we can come together as a community and support Doge through $1, we can collectively liquidate whoever this may be. And the push through $1 is going to be critical. It could be coming sooner rather than later. But it will take the full community support to be able to accept that Doge is worth more than $1. And that's really what we're looking forward to here, and what we thought may be the near to midterm, but this could very well be the very near future. Yeah, very interesting. And just to be clear, the source on this was like a Wall Street Bets admin or something. Yeah, the chairman or whatever the guy calls himself. It's the main dude on Twitter. I saw the post, and then I tried to actually send it to you, and it was gone before I could do that. So
it disappeared?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm on the chairman's WSB chairman's page right now. So as we know recently that the Wall Street Bets crew has been kind of flirting with Doge, and kind of there's been a lot of chatter in their kind of sphere about Doge. So that's interesting. They're obviously big Elon fans. They're big Bitcoin fans too, which is fine. That's great. But they've been talking about Doge too. So just to kind of reiterate for anyone that may be confused, can you explain again, just maybe a little bit more layman's terms, what it means when how this kind of this kind of level of short from a whale like this would affect a Dogecoin in a positive way?
Well, essentially this gentleman is betting that there will be a massive rejection at the $1.01 level. Meaning he's taking out. And now keep in mind, I've never shorted a crypto before. It's usually done through Binance perpetual futures,
right,
which I have a very mild basic understanding of. I know how shorting works with the stock market, and I'm sure it's very similar to crypto as well.
Sure.
But yeah, it seems like there is a large short position that is being generated as we speak at the $1.01 level for Doge. So I would anticipate, if we do see, now keep in mind this short position is all contingent on there not being a larger bull to support Doge through $1. If for any reason a third party is more bullish on Doge through $1, whoever placed this short position at $1.01 could very easily be liquidated. So that gives us one of two scenarios. We are either going to see a strong push through $1, which it would be great for the community, would be great for Doge holders, and I think that is our winning scenario, where we see mass adaptation and large-scale investors plan to become extremely bullish on Doge and take it well past $1 very quickly. Or we could make it to $1, or specifically $1.01, and see a large rejection. Even if we did see that, I don't think it would be like we're going back to 8 cents. It wouldn't work like that. We would see a rejection to the previous level of resistance, in which case, right now our all-time high was 45 or 50 cents.
Right.
So we could see a retracement to, from $1 to that 50-cent level, if there's enough people who pile on to the short position. It's all just buyers and sellers, guys. So I just got done watching a couple great TA videos, one by Napoleon Macro, who explains these types of things way better than I can. But yeah, it really comes down to the community support through to and through $1, and that support needs to be extremely strong to offset the amount of selling pressure and the amount of short positions that are going to be created at the $1 level.
Right. Yeah, that's going to have to be an extraordinary amount, because without something like that, I predict that a few run-ups to that $1 will probably result in 15-20 cent retracements before runs up and tests again. So what do you think about that? That's what I'm thinking what happens. I think there's so many people, so many investors that the $1 is their apex, is their out point. So I'm seeing like 15-20 cent retracements a couple times before it can blast through that $1 point. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't be that bearish on it. I would honestly think if we were, these things kind of fall to previous fib retracement levels when they do, as we could see with the flash crash. Like, what did we drop down to? Previous level of resistance, which was at the 15-cent mark. Right. So if we break through the 50-cent barrier, that becomes a new floor, and then we go from 50 to $1 or through $1. I don't think we would retest all the way down to 15 cents. And if we did, it would not be like a flash crash. And if it was like a flash crash, it would be because of other pieces of news, not just buyers and sellers. It would have to be something connected to the entire crypto market as a whole, like we saw the other day.
Right.
Again, guys, I am very, very bullish on Doge and have been for many, many years now. I don't plan on selling any till we pass through the $1. And I think that if you plan on being a long-term Doge holder, which if you bought in this year, which many people in the chat, and I know lots of people did, just based off of tax ramifications and possible, changes to our tax plan, like, you should be holding this crypto for a year for sure. Right. And if you can do that, we will see a push through $1 pretty easily. And if people continue to support the coin, I think we will be seeing a push through $1, and I hope that we can buck whatever short sellers and whatever bears we have along the way.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point there, because that was something I was thinking about the other day, where I think the more people we can educate on our tax laws, well, as they are right now anyway, in terms of the point of holding your winnings for at least a year, drastically reduces the amount of taxes and capital gains tax that you will owe the government. I mean, it's a very sharp difference, guys. Very sharp difference. In other words,
huge.
The government is going to penalize you big time for making those sizable deposits and putting them right in your bank account. They're gonna tax the heck out of that. But if you can just hold on to it for a year before you make that transfer, the taxes go down exponentially. So I feel like the more people that we can educate about that point, by the time we get up to close to the dollar, maybe we can have a sea shift in people's mentality where they're like, it's more like, oh, $1 no matter what, and then I'm out and I'm going to cash out. Then at that point, it more becomes, well, I got to hang on to this for a year anyway. So why don't we just let this play out? Why don't we just let this play out a little bit more, right? So
I agree, and I think, like I said before, we mentioned this on a previous episode, where, if we get through, at the time when we break the dollar level, if that is sustained for even 24 hours, if we break $1 and sustain $1 for 24 to 48 hours, that will be an extremely bullish signal to large scale investors. I'm not talking about retailers like you and I, and some people might not even consider me a retailer, but whatever you may call me, people who are holding under 100 million. I'm talking about people who, exchanges that buy in the billions. That would be an extremely bullish signal, and could possibly outpace market. We could be looking at a scenario where there's more demand than there are coins. There's more buying pressure than there's coins to fill orders. We saw that during the run up to the 50 cent level, where there was more buying demand than there was available currency. So if we see that pattern run through a 24 to 48 hour period, once we get to the dollar level, forget about it.
Right.
We will be that's when I will start adjusting my predictions and looking at the $2 or even $3 level within that yearly or short 6-month time frame.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assessment of that. So right now we are kind of flirting with 28 cent, kind of 28 cents up and down, right under it. People are talking about breaking through 30 cents tonight. I don't see why not. I know some people, I couldn't figure out, but some people were even talking chatter that there was going to be a huge, tremendous surge tonight, but I couldn't quite figure out the logic behind people thinking that. Do you know?
I'm sorry, I was reading Elon tweet. What was the question?
Did Elon just tweet?
Yeah, something about Saturday Night Live.
Okay, so yeah, we'll check that out momentarily, guys. I was just saying, there was chatter online that we were going to see a big surge tonight, but I couldn't quite figure out what those people were basing this off of. Do you know?
Yeah, I saw another. This was in Reddit on Wall Street Bets. Apparently, there's a large multi-billion-dollar investment coming in from India that was supposed to take place tonight or tomorrow. completely unconfirmed. Who the hell knows if that's legit or not. I would say that we are clearly in an uptrend, that we're, constantly testing that 29-cent level, which was a previous, that was a floor for us for a minute there.
Right.
So getting up over 29 cents and staying there for 24 to 48 hours would be a huge bullish sign again as well. Coming into the end of the month, guys, is typically when we see the most selling pressure, because the short contracts are usually up at the end of the month. So it's just interesting that we're seeing such bullish signals coming towards the end of month. That is very that's a very bullish sign. You don't see that. If you guys remember, just a month ago, we were reaching back down into our low levels towards the end of the past month, which is usually what happens when you run up against short contracts. So very interesting things that are going on with Doge right now, which is why I'm urging everyone to just not do anything. If you're gonna, if you plan on making a buy, we had that buy-in point the other day with the flash crash. But I mean, even now, if you plan on buying now and you plan on holding for a year, 27 cents is not a bad deal on every dollar. Like, that's not a bad deal.
No, not at all. Not at all. So a couple things, guys. Elon Musk just sent out a couple tweets, and the first one was hosting SNL on May 8th. That's news I'm sure we all already knew in here. And if you didn't know that, then surprise, Elon Musk is hosting Saturday Night Live on May 8th, just a week away now. And then his follow-up tweet just 5 minutes ago was, let's find out just how live Saturday Night Live really is, with a devil emoji, a crafty devil emoji. So, those of us in this space, the first question that we have is he gonna drop a sign, right? Is there gonna be a kind of a Doge related skit? Maybe. Obviously, that would probably have pretty significant reverberations on the market value. Who knows, guys? I don't think we should get too caught up on that. Let's just enjoy it for what it will be, whether he mentions Dogecoin or not. I'd say I kind of put it at a 50-50. Then again, it seems that almost every move Elon makes is a strategic calculation. So it wouldn't surprise me if he chose to accept this hosting position at this time for alternative reasons. In fact, I could pretty much say with certainty that he has accepted it for other alternative reasons, for promotion or whatever. But what that entails remains to be seen. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I actually, just before we started here live tonight, I just got done watching the his press conference for the docking of the NASA crew members.
Right.
A lot of good questions were posed to him. He seems like he's pretty tired, and I feel like that as well. He's been up probably for a couple days, so hey, time to give the guy a break. But I would not be shocked, and I keep this in mind, guys, over the next 2 weeks, because it's not going to be until May 8th, so we've got basically 2 weeks until this episode airs. We could be seeing a very sharp run up in Doge, just much like we did see prior to 420. Now,
just over anticipation of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think this. Yep. I think that's pretty probable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So don't be surprised if we see a sharp market spike within the next 2 weeks. It wouldn't shock me at all. Now, if he mentions Doge or not will either confirm that market sentiment and keep it at the level that it's at. So, if you're going to watch Saturday Night Live on the 8th, keep a close eye on it, because he, if he says if there's any Doge symbol, or he doesn't even need to say it, if he walks out on stage with he said he just got a new Shiba Inu dog. If he comes out on stage with that, that's like game over. So just be aware, in the next 2 weeks we could be seeing a sharp run up. I don't know when that would occur, but just keep in mind we're in an uptrend right now. We'll see what happens within the next 24 to 48 hours price wise. If we trade sideways for the next couple days, I wouldn't be mad about it either. Remember, 27, 28, 29 cents isn't a bad deal. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, right on. And welcome guys. We just passed 100 people in stream right now, and we're just kind of getting started tonight. So welcome to the stream. Welcome to Saturday Night Live on Steven Steele Live, where the theme is Dogecoin to $1 and beyond. And then starting things off with my special guest, Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls. And we're at 57 likes right now. So if y'all could just take a split second of your time, it doesn't cost you a dime, to hit that thumbs up button. It's the number one thing you can do to help a new emerging channel like this one get up on those YouTube algorithms. Let's get up in those YouTube algorithms. I see streams, Doge streams, where it's just a chart and nobody talking that has 300 people in it. Certainly we can reach that threshold. But this is a new channel, so it's part of the deal. I get it. But yeah, if you guys could everyone that hasn't smashed that like button, please smash the like button. It really, just a simple thing you can do to really help. And also, if you're new here, welcome aboard. Really happy to have you. Make sure to hit that subscribe and then that notification bell, since this is predominantly a live show, so that when exactly I go on. So don't forget to do those things. And lastly, if you want to super chat during the show, you are more than welcome to do so. It's a great way to show your support, and it's hugely appreciated. You can do that through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. Let's see. Beef Supreme is just bringing the high energy again. Beef Supreme says Dogecoin to $100. Beef Supreme, Dogecoin, $100. I love it. I love the energy.
I did the math on that, by the way.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Obviously it's insane. But if Dogecoin ever hit $100, and let's just say I didn't cash out anything until that time, I would be one of the wealthiest people in my state. So maybe I don't know if I could handle that, guys. I don't know if I don't know if I could handle that level of responsibility. But,
yeah,
definitely. It would be funny.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it'd be a wild ride for us all, for sure. Even the most modest investors right now, if that were to ever occur, for some weird reason. Let's see. Poor Man Printing, welcome. Poor Man Printing, I just checked out one of your videos the other day. Poor Man Printing's also another pretty new channel. So welcome, Poor Man Printing. Yeah, man, I love B Supreme's energy. He's all he or she. It could be
believe it.
He's like, believe it. I'm manifesting. The Dogecoin is going to rise to the most epic proportions, and I love it. I love it. It is funny, but at the same time, it is that kind of energy that in part really drives this thing, right? So I definitely don't discount that kind of energy. I totally embrace it. There's a guy in here earlier, a guy I haven't seen in here before, and he was like, this is really repetitive. Why don't you guys just watch it go? And that's fine. I can understand how some outsiders wouldn't understand why we do what we do, but Dogecoin is a very strong community. It's a very strong culture, and the war is waged every day on the internet for market value. And so much of crypto depends on who is wielding who is wielding the memes, who is wielding the I guess, for lack of a better term, the viralness, right, or whatever. Who is wielding the social media trends, and that takes, in part, that's a good part of it. It takes channels like this one. It takes channels like Crypto Batman's, Matt Wallace, Poor Man Printing, Stain Alpha, whoever, to really just keep pushing this thing and keeping people like revved up and excited and engaged. That's a big part of that's an important component of what dictates a market value in cryptocurrency. And it's not just about just being like hype men for it. It's about explaining to people, stating the case, why you think this coin deserves deserves the attention you want it to get. Why do you think it deserves a market value you want it to have? I think I heard a super chat coming in. Holy cow. Dre Black just tipped a whopping $50. Dre Black, that's massive. Thank you so much for that. Way to kick things off for the night, Dre Black. Appreciate that so much. I'm very, very humbled. Thank you for your massive support there. Dre Black says, Elon did tweet, what does the future hold, HODL. That leaves me to believe he will do something huge for the community on SNL. That's actually a pretty salient point, Dre Black. And again, Dre, thank you hugely for that generous super chat. Way to just rock the Casbah, starting the show off with a bang, Dre Black. Thank you again, man. So yeah, once again, Dre Black super chat was, Elon did tweet, what does the future hold? This leads me to believe that he will do something huge for the community on SNL. You know, I guess I hadn't really given that much thought, but now that you mention it, Dre, pretty much everything we've seen from Elon is there's no just coincidences, right? There's no he's not somebody that just spontaneously makes statements without a purpose, without a plan. So I think there's validity to what you say, yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. What do you say? What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, everything we've seen that has come from Elon so far has been extremely calculated. He really kind of comes through for our community when we really need him. And now that we're kind of running on our own, you don't see him as much posting, but he still likes he'll still comment on the occasional meme that's posted and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've gotten to the point now where we're really at the precipice of really taking off. And I'm fairly confident that he'll save a major announcement or some sort of major gesture of kindness or respect to the community for just the right moment, and SNL could be that time. And that's a perfect reason, like I said earlier, that we should be seeing a sharp run up in price going up to 2 Saturdays from now when he hosts. So I would fully expect there to be another large run up in price in the next couple of weeks here.
Yeah, I think that's fairly safe to assume at this point. When you think about it, there are people of the school of thought, and even people that are friends of mine, they seem to think that you can't take anything Elon says seriously. He's just kind of like, just kind of flirting with the Doge and just for the lulz, and he really doesn't have any intention on follow through. But I'd have to disagree. I think the probability of that is pretty low when you see, firstly, how he just keeps kind of returning to it. I feel like he keeps returning to Doge and Doge memes and Doge tweets for a while now. And if it was just kind of a passing phase. I think he would have been well on something else right now, firstly. Secondly, he literally bought a Shiba Inu dog as the family pet. To me, that's like very symbolic, right? We know why he got the Shiba Inu. We know what inspired that decision, right? So now that's a reminder of Doge in his life every day, right? In his household, around his family. I just don't feel like a guy that's going to make a Shiba Inu his family pet is somebody that's already done with the Doge. What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, I think that, what is very, this just strikes me as very interesting. The two major cryptos that Elon has supported, being, Bitcoin and Doge, are both cryptocurrencies that don't have any type of leadership. Mm-hmm. And what really holds their leadership structure together is their communities. There's no CEO of Bitcoin. There's no CEO of Doge. Of course, there were creators, but they're at least as far as we know, they're no longer personally, which is just fantastic for the community. It's fantastic for the coin in general. And it really isolates risk as far as he's concerned, because it means he doesn't have to worry about backlash from anything. And for the most part, I think the Doge community has been doing an amazing job of kind of like embracing him as a leader and a figure within our movement, and staying very kind of chill and cool, you know what I mean? And just kind of
I agree with that. Hey, what's up, Darthman? What's up, Joshua? What's up, Old Boy Ocean? Welcome back. Dire Havoc, welcome back. So yeah, guys, we are in the middle of discussing Elon's soon-to-be guest spot on Saturday Night Live, where he will be the featured host, and that will be very interesting. What becomes of that? Whether it'll be overtly Doge related or not. We know to get across some things that he wants to get across. Yeah, guys, we are just been hanging out right under 27 cents. My guest for the first portion of the show is Dogecoin billionaire Nick Balls. And those of you who are new to the show are probably like, why do you always say Dogecoin millionaire, Nick? Why don't you just call him Nick? Well, the reason why I do that is, for one, for special effect. But two, because Nick has been holding a lot of Doge since the year 2014. And Nick had a matrix moment, a moment of prophecy or whatever, and invested $10,000 in Dogecoin in 2014 and has been holding ever since. So his Dogecoin at this point is worth about, what, 2.5 million, Nick?
Yeah, at 27 something cents. But interestingly enough, now I know Kung Fu. So
very beneficial.
So that's a positive.
Yeah, that's very positive. Yeah, that's definitely a good skill set to have picked up along the way. To even more effectively protect your assets if the zombie apocalypse breaks out. I think Nick has been a very interesting guest voice to have on the show, in seeing that we seem to be in kind of a fork in the road with Dogecoin, and I think things could get very interesting very quickly, more so than they are now. And it's always great to have Nick in the room to discuss these things. It's pretty uncommon to come across someone who's invested that much in Dogecoin that early on. It's a very uncommon thing. So you could probably count the amount of people who invested $10K or even around that amount or more, maybe on two hands. Nick, what do you say? How many people do you think made a decision as boldly as you did? I mean, $10,000 isn't like a ton of money, but it is a ton of money to sink in a cryptocurrency in 2014. that's a lot of money in context for what your investment, the nature of investment was. How many folks do you think made that leap like you?
You know, at the time, I did it with a business partner of mine who did we went in about the same, and I think we were probably at least top 20, if not top 10 wallets on the blockchain at the time.
Yeah.
Of course, but that there really wasn't many of us at that level.
Yes.
At that 10 million plus level. And it was just it didn't it didn't seem that crazy back then, because there wasn't a ton of us, and I think the people that we were conversing with, at least this is what I remember. The people in the Doge community were like super cool and really like welcomed us with open arms, and we didn't get looked at any differently. I didn't know that at the time, like spending that much money on Doge was like seen as a crazy thing. Like I didn't even really think much of it. But I will tell you that the people in the Bitcoin and the Litecoin communities were horrific to us. They just thought we were a couple of idiots, and they called us just insane names and told us we were going to lose everything. And I told them I had at the time, and this is true, I had nothing to lose. I wasn't like a millionaire at all. Like I was a kid not a kid, but I was in my early 20s. I took a bank loan to buy it. So I thought in absolute worst case scenario, I'll declare bankruptcy on a loan for 15 grand and call it a day. If everything went to absolute shit, like I would just essentially be back to square one. And it just didn't faze me. It just didn't faze me at all. But I do remember that the Bitcoin and Litecoin communities were like so anti-Doge. I mean, the stance really hasn't changed. It's just that we overtook Litecoin and now we're coming for Bitcoin. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously people think I'm a genius now, but at the time they were calling me a fool.
As it goes many times for people who are vindicated in the long run. So that's cool, because it sounds like, and obviously back then in 2014, there were only about 4 or 5 different cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I remember.
Yeah, there was like 4 major. Of course, there were like a lot of altcoins that never became, or just like they were created, but no one, like they literally didn't. No exchanges picked them up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there wasn't a lot to choose from at the time.
Right.
And I thought, I just thought it was so cool to say that I was like a multi-dogillionaire. I just thought it just sounded so cool to me. I was like, well, I might not ever make it with Bitcoin, because at the time it was like Bitcoin just seemed just too expensive, which,
right.
I mean, in the long run, obviously, clearly it wasn't. It was an amazing deal at the time,
right.
But I just didn't have that kind of money. But I did have the kind of money to be a multi-dogillionaire. And look at me now, So, yeah, it's still a cool thing, and I think that, yeah, it's just neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's one of those things too where I think you almost benefited too, it sounds like, from the lack of outside clutter and noise. Things were pretty stripped down for you, where, like you said, when you made that investment, you didn't even realize, it didn't even feel like a crazy, super fringy, risky, weird thing to do. You probably just looked at it, you heard about it, you looked at the basic metrics of it, and you're like, this looks pretty sound. This looks like it's got a lot of potential, right? Like, yeah. And it's so funny because you understood even way back then what many of the mainstream corporate media pundits don't even understand now about Dogecoin, and I will get to that more later in the show, guys. But still, just hearing the level of misinformation from so-called financial experts who don't even understand the very, very basic fundamentals of the coin, and are just keep propagating the stupidest, most uninformed takes you could possibly imagine. I mean, there's and more of it we're seeing now because Dogecoin's more and more under attack by the establishment, which is not a bad thing. These are not bad signals to see, guys, because it just means that we are posing a threat now. So it's good. It's really cool because, Nick, you obviously were able to see Doge for its fundamentals through clear eyes and without idiotic influence, so to speak, of your perception of the coin. So that's awesome. Do you recall, was there a friend of yours or somebody in your sphere that also invested back then with you?
I think I've told this story a couple times I think I told it on Upshot, and I think I might have mentioned it in my video. So
Yep.
I had a business partner who's still a business partner of mine.
Yep.
And I funded, so when Bitcoin, I had originally invested in Bitcoin in 2012. So when Bitcoin took off in 2014, I used some of those earnings to help him start the business that we still have today. And he was the only person who invested directly with me on Doge. We basically went in together and just he bought as much as I did at the time. And there was one other person who I directly influenced into buying Doge. And he was a friend of mine at the time, and he either something happened with his wallet. He lost it all. His investment wasn't as large as mine. I think he only invested a couple grand. But he either got hacked, or he trusted somebody with his keys, or he kept some of his coins on the exchange that went under, where we were all buying our Doge from at the time. One of those things happened, and he lost everything. And he got really burned by what he thought was Doge, but was essentially his own mistake. And there actually is a golden nugget that came out of that story. And actually just a couple weeks ago, I think it was right before I got my Doge tattoo, he messaged me, and he found the keys to his old Bitcoin wallet, which still had 3 or 4 Bitcoin in there. So he recently was able to access that, and it has just completely changed his life. And
you faded out there, Nick. I think it's just a connection issue.
180. And you're back. He found his keys for his he found his keys for his Bitcoin wallet that he lost 7 years ago, and he still has 3 or 4 Bitcoin. Oh wow! So that was huge for him. That was a huge come up. And since finding those keys, he has now reinvested in Doge again. Right. As well as other cryptos that he, some projects that he believes in. Right. And I couldn't be happier for the dude, because he got really burned. And we were just talking the other day, and he's like, he was so short-sighted. He lost whatever $1,000 or $2,000 when he got hacked on Doge. Right. And at that time, the price had already started to climb up. Right. So in his mind, he had already been washed out. So like he but he didn't realize how far this would go. And he didn't realize that if he would have just did it all, if he just redid it, yeah, he would have lost just a few $100 plus his initial investment. but he could have just done it all over again, rebought it all back, and been in my position today. And it really wouldn't have cost him anything. I mean, what is a few grand in the long run when you're talking about millions of dollars? So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy for the guy. He at least got something back. And yeah, but other than that, those were the two people who kind of followed my lead. Now, I told many people about Doge back then. Of course, I have that story about how I got drunk at Blackout Wednesday and kind of like told the whole world about Dogecoin. Out of all of those people, very, very few listened to me, but they all remember that night. And most people don't. Please don't add me on Facebook. I just keep my Facebook for like friends and family and stuff. But when Doge first took off, my Facebook wall was like, "I should have listened to you. I'm an idiot." Like, it was just filled with posts of people like, "I remember." I was like, and
a lot of regret. Yeah, it's one of those things too. I mean, I even feel it too, even in my bones when I saw. Even though I'm certain this thing's going to go to $1, but it was different when I saw this thing go to up to 45 cents last week. I was like, man, I probably should have even put in more, right? It's always the hindsight's always 2020, and that's the thing to keep in mind, guys. Once this thing takes off, without the retracements that we've seen, going from 40 some cents down to way down. We got down to 15 cents, and now we've been coming back up here, getting narrowing in on 30 cents. There's that moment, right? That moment hits you when a coin goes parabolic, and you're just like, man, if I only, you're right. So it's just one of those things where even here at, in my humble opinion, even here into the 27 cents and whatnot, where this thing's going to be sitting a year from now, this isn't going to be a bad buy-in point at all, in my opinion. So, now's the time to do it if you still are looking to shore up some final investments. Now I'm invested as far as I can invest in Doge right now, but I did add on as recently as this last dip. I even added more Dogecoin on at 17 cents. Guys, you were listening to Real Deal Steven Steele, Doge After Dark. Dogecoin to $1 and beyond. Special guest has been Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls. If you want to follow Nick on Twitter, I'm just going to pop that in there for you guys momentarily here. So just hang tight. In the meantime, if you haven't hit that like button, please feel free to do so. It's the number one thing you can do to help a new emerging stream show like this one get up in those YouTube algorithms. It's hugely appreciated. Also, if you're new here, press the subscribe button. Join us. I'd love to have you. We're building out an awesome community here pretty rapidly now, and we'd love to have you along for the rocket ride to the MOON. And lastly, if you feel compelled to super chat and support the show that way, that's really appreciated for my time and efforts. And you can do so through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. And it's actually pretty simple to super chat through Stream Elements. Beef Supreme says now is the time. Beef Supreme says it's gonna explode. Poor Man Printing. I'm telling everyone, and only one of my friends actually moved on it. Maybe I'm wrong. What if I'm not? Yeah, these are always the questions we ask ourselves when we invest in such things. So yeah. Anyway, Nick, Dogecoin to $1. Are you? Last night you were saying that you felt that let me get this right. You felt that it was possible, like realistically possible, for Dogecoin to hit $1 within the next 3 months. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I've been doing some extensive TA, like very, very extensive TA on Doge interval timing, percentage gains over time, time between pumps, like just basically measuring all of the data that we have on Doge so far, and using that to map out essentially where we will, the time it'll take us to get to $1 in the future. And from every indicator that we can see, the average move to the upside every time that we go parabolic is between 500 and 600%. We measured that level at the 22 cent mark.
Yep.
Just the other day, and like a 500 or 600% move to the upside from just that point would put us at 98 or between 96 and 98 cents. So let's just round up and call it $1.
Sure.
Because we have, I mean, that's just the average move to the upside, 500 to 600%. This past move was like 800%. So we have seen moves to the upside that have been larger than 500%, but that's just an average based on the last 3 moves to the upside. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we have enough data now where we can now properly time this out and go like, look, this took this long, and it took this long to get here, and then it took that long to get there. And these intervals seem to be shortening, like they seem to be condensing. So yeah, I mean, every great technical analysis guy that I've seen that has done really in-depth TA on Doge so far has given the dollar mark a 3 to 6 month time period. I'm probably more bullish on that. So I'm closer to the 3 month mark. But that being said, we could shrink that interval even more dramatically, like with all of the news that's coming up, the Coinbase announcement, Elon going on SNL. Now, I personally believe that shortening these intervals and moving the percentage gains higher is probably not a good thing. Meaning, I don't, like, let's say tomorrow we hit $1, right? Like, I don't think that would be great in the long run. Even 3 months, which I actually firmly believe that in 3 months will be close to, if not through $1, I'm not necessarily convinced that that would be a positive sign, just because that trajectory is like crazy. Like that amount of percentage gain in such a short period of time would indicate that there would be just extremely heavy selling pressure just based off of how quickly the rise would happen. However, like I mentioned earlier, if we could break through the dollar level and sustain a positive dollar evaluation for an extended period of time, I would like to see that. Like if we got to and through $1 and stayed there for 3 to 6 months, that would make me extremely happy, and that would confirm a very long-term bullish momentum.
So it certainly sounds doable. 3 months would be absolutely wild, but it's doable. It's all risky tweeted this out not too long ago. It simply says, we need a fast, cheap, decentralized solution to buying and selling goods online. Dogecoin is that solution. I thought that I've started wondering, has he been listening to this show? This is what we've been hammering just pretty much all the time. And it seems to be that message is getting out more and more. And it almost can't be said enough in this space where, people people aren't going to spend their Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to prove to be an absolute failure in the retail space. People just aren't going to be spending their money buying and selling, or rather buying things with Bitcoin. And Ethereum's too sluggish and too expensive to do it. And Dogecoin is perfectly positioned. It has all the perfect metrics for everyday retail buying and selling large and small items. So I think the more
perfect for retailers as well.
Yep.
Because Doge doesn't have a large built-in transaction fee.
Right.
The transaction fee is so low. It's actually the lowest compared to any other crypto, dollar for dollar, like cents transfer fee cents. So that's amazing for companies, because then they can, just like Binance builds in their own transaction fee when buying and selling and transferring.
Right.
On top of the 1 Doge per transaction that's already built into the coin. So when you make a coin with a low transaction fee like Doge, and perfect example because it has the lowest, that's great for retailers, because then they can add a transaction fee on top of that and not make the end user feel like they're getting murdered and feed to death like so many other coins. SafeMoon. So it's hard for coins that have built-in transaction fees or built-in percentage losses based on transactions to really be accepted in the retail space, because their fees are so high already built into the coin. There's no benefit for exchanges to use them, because then they can't put in their fees. And by the time you get done transferring or selling a coin that's already got so much fees built into it, the end user feels like they got gypped. And Doge doesn't have that, so it's just perfect for retailers.
Yeah, I concur, and this is something I've just been echoing all over the internet, whether I'm guesting on other people's shows or whatever, because I was just shocked to find out how few people, even in the crypto space, even in the Doge space, who didn't really understand this. So that's the big, not so hidden secret about crypto, is that neither of the big two, neither Ethereum or Bitcoin, are equipped or structured to be able to even close to handle everyday transactions in a retail space. It's just crazy to me when you hear all these just corporate finance experts. They just don't understand it. They just don't understand the basic premise, and they'll hype up Bitcoin, they'll hype up Ethereum, but they poo-poo the Doge, and it's just like, Doge is the only one of the big three that's equipped to handle retail. Someone said that Elon just tweeted. Did he just tweet? I'll check on it. We might have already covered that, but who knows? Maybe he did. He could have replied to someone here. Nothing new. Just the ones that he said. He's hosting SNL on May 8th, and then a little bit later he said, let's find out how live Saturday Night Live really is, with the mischievous devil face. So smiling with the horn. So, obviously he's up to something, guys. Obviously he's up to something, and the comments are just flooded with Doge-centric comments. I mean, I think it's, I'd give it at least like a 50% that something Doge related is going to be happening during his appearance on Saturday Night Live. So, do you guys remember?
I need to do some more. Oh, go for it.
Oh, go ahead, Nick. You need to do more.
I need to do some more background research on Lauren Michaels' opinion on cryptocurrency in general, because that could affect what types of skits or what Elon is maybe not allowed to say, but what they might prompt him to not comment or comment on during his time on SNL. So I really want to find out Lauren Michaels' opinion on crypto in general, to kind of anticipate what we could be looking at.
Yeah. Definitely. Let's see here. Just taking a look at the chat. Binance is horrible due to their fees. Dire Havoc says, I actually agree with that point. I know a lot of people really swear by Binance, and I do like Binance because it's really secure. I think that's the main thing. If you're dealing, I think Nick brought up this point, and I think it's a really salient one. If you're a bigger investor, Binance should be your one of your main go-tos. If you're a smaller investor, it might not be so advantageous. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I've told people this from day one. Binance has gone like far and beyond for me. Like, they helped me with the whole process of getting in. They gave me like preferred pricing on BNB. They did all this cool stuff for me. But I'm letting them hold, $500,000 right now. So
right.
They really appreciate their big clients. They really do. And for us, for bigger clients, like people who are trading in the millions or half millions, we're not being hit with the same kinds of fees that smaller investors are.
Right.
If you're a smaller investor, if you're just a regular person who buys crypto, or a retail investor who's kind of just toying around with crypto, there's other exchanges. Voyager's a great platform.
Mm-hmm.
I think Voyager is probably the way to go for like most people.
Yep. I agree.
But that being said, every time people ask me who do I recommend, I always say Binance, but I always forget that like I'm in this like 1% class that like,
mm-hmm.
I just don't think about it because I've never been in this situation before in my life. So,
right.
Yeah, but Binance has the best customer support. They are far and beyond like the best exchange for people such as myself.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's just a matter of how much you're invested. For larger investors, I definitely think Binance is a really great way to go. For us plebs, I think Voyager's probably the most ideal.
Yeah, that's probably true. But don't tell Binance I said that.
Guys, you've been listening to Real Deal Steven Steele coming to you live on a Saturday night here, about quarter after 11 in our neck of the woods. And my guest for the first portion of the show has been Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls. Nick's always a pleasure having you here. I saw someone in the chat said, make the point that Elon's tweets no longer really affect the market value of Doge anymore. That's a fair point, but what we're talking about is a full syndicated national televised potential Doge message, which I think we haven't seen that yet, right? That we haven't seen that yet, especially from Elon, and that's a whole new level. So, what reverberations could that have on Doge remains to be seen, but it's definitely next level. It's definitely next level. You're definitely reaching a lot of people. It's easy for us to kind of forget that. Those of us crypto nerds to forget that the overwhelming majority of society isn't on Twitter and doesn't care, and so it's really important that we extend our reach outside of Twitter through even more mainstream accessible mediums like television. I'm not a big television watcher. I don't think most people that are in crypto are. I think most people in crypto, if I had to suspect, we all watch television, but we stream things at our will. I think if you put a percentage on the amount of people that are in crypto that actually just watch TV, just sit around and watch like syndicated TV, I think it'd be a really low percentage. The only time I and most people I know ever watch TV is when you're just streaming through an app, right? Whether it's Hulu or Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever, or or HBO Max. But we forget that that's a whole big, wide demographics of people that we really need to reach. And so, obviously, I gotta admit, even the more I'm just thinking about this and talking it out, I'm thinking it's more likely. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but I'm thinking it's more likely that Elon's gonna throw the Doge a bone on Saturday Night Live. I just feel like this is such an opportunity and such a perfect window that it just seems like the time is right for it. I'm on the Steven Steele server. I sent an invite link 3 times. Not going to spam again. Sorry. Don't worry. I'll send it. It's different when it's not a mod that sends it, because then it doesn't automatically turn into a hyperlink unless a mod sends the link or I send the link. So I'll just put that in there, and not only for Art, but anyone else that wants to join the Steven Steele Discord server, feel free. I'd love to have you. And thank you, Dyer, for trying to sort that, but appreciate it. So if you want to join the Discord server, I got a couple links I pumped in there. Nick, anything else on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, I know, we were talking earlier about some other coin that, people are, you and I have had issue with in the past. And it just brings up the point that I always want people to be aware of, and that is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias exists within every community and within every person. You want to believe that your opinions or your ideas are correct. And that's why I study charting and technical analysis so heavily, because although we're in the Doge community, that can sometimes sour or kind of poison our thought process, because that's all we're seeing all day. And it's great because, the community is awesome. It's, it's great to see all these people that are all pro Doge and everything's awesome and everybody's really cool and we have a fun time and it's the memes and whatnot. But, you want to be aware of your own confirmation bias. And that's why I kind of encourage everybody to, if you're going to be, looking at Doge as a proper investment and something that you're going to be holding like I did for years to come, that you do some research and learn about charting and technical analysis, because the way that market flow moves and and charting works, you should be able to understand the movements within the market that are positive signs and negative signs, and take out your beliefs and everything you feel, the emotion of what the community brings, which is great. It's awesome. It's it's really good to have all this pro Doge stuff going around, but you have to also objectively look at price levels, objectively look at technical analysis, and be able to say, okay, we are here, we're going there, and this is what's happening now, and this was what these are our 1, 2, or 3 possibilities that are going to be happening within the next 24 to 48 hours. So I think everybody within the community, especially who looks at this coin on a daily, should do some research and learn about market technical analysis, especially when it comes to cryptos, because they move so much differently than even stocks or any other asset class.
Yeah. Agreed. All good points. It's easy to get caught up in your own bubbles of confirmation bias and whatnot. There's definitely a lot of truth to that, and definitely applies to different factions within crypto and stuff like that. Is it expensive to buy Doge with the Trust Wallet? Well, there are extra fees you do incur, with the Trust Wallet. I don't know specifically what the fees are in relation to buying Doge with it, but I guess I would ask you why. Why would you want to buy Doge on a Trust Wallet? Because Trust Wallet makes a lot more sense to me to kind of use it as a portal to harder to find smaller altcoins that aren't on bigger exchanges and platforms. But as far as just buying Doge, I don't know. I would just buy Doge on one of the more established, trusted platforms, and then one where if you feel like you want to, you need to move those to a hard wallet. Make sure you enter in if that's really important to you, make sure you enter into one that has that. Now, Voyager right now doesn't have that for Doge, but they are working really hard to make that. I've been in direct contact with those folks, and it's one of their top priorities right now. And I know they got a very competent, pretty efficient team over there, so I know it's just a matter of time before that can happen there. So Solana, I have no idea. I've never heard of that coin. Someone else said if they have a Doge skit on Saturday Night Live, that they'll make a separate clip of it on YouTube and it will go viral. Yep, I agree with that. I think that's quite likely if that happens, right? I
can almost guarantee that I will guarantee that Matt Wallace will be watching SNL with a microscope, and if there is a flash of even
anything
like the color of Doge, if Elon comes out with like a freaking pocket square that's the color of the Doge, Matt Wallace will be on the case, and there will probably be an hour-long breakdown of what it means. So you can bet that either way, no matter what happens with Saturday Night Live, there's going to be a lot of videos made about it for sure.
Yeah, I think Kyle in the chat raises a good point too. Said I agree on TA, but charts represent people buying and selling, which is usually based on emotions, so it's hard to predict based on charts without also analyzing media and news. Yeah, I think at all times you have to be paying. This is something I always talk about. You got to try to factor in as best you can anyway the cultural winds and trends and media and the level of momentum that is occurring on social media around a coin. All those things are factors. The best we can do is take educated guesstimations with more traditional charting estimations combined with these kind of sociological factors.
Yeah, exactly. You have to realistically be able to do both and be able to separate the two.
Right.
So if you can do both and be able to separate the two in your brain,
right,
that's what creates a good investor. And then, of course, what Warren Buffett always said, long term, is just creating wealth is simply taking money from the pockets of the impatient and putting it in the pockets of the patient. So that's all it is.
Yep. Beef Supreme asks, how's life changed for you, Nick?
Beef Supreme. Life really hasn't changed that much for me. Mm-hmm. I am going on vacation in June. So I'll be gone for about a week. I'll be in Florida. This was planned before Doge ever took off, so that wasn't any different. I do have an order placed at McLaren, Chicago, for a very expensive car. Something that I would have never in my life imagined that I would be owning. I will be looking at houses here soon, but as I told my girlfriend, I've gotten to this point in my life where I feel like I am or have become the king of buying at the bottom. Like I feel like if I'm not getting like this insane deal, that I'm not doing my due diligence. And I firmly believe that in the next year to two, we will see a major correction in the housing market. So if that means I need to stay in my condo another year or two, that doesn't matter to me. Like I'll stay living the exact same life I'm living for a while until I see a very, very good opportunity on a house. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not buying $1 million mansion or anything. Like I'm just buying a regular, normal house as long as it's got a nice garage. And that's about it. So yeah, nothing's really changed that much. I bought a new pair of sandals the other day. That's it. Adidas sandals.
Well, it's also one of those things too where, you haven't cashed out, and then obviously, and then also you got to hang on for a year, even when you decide when you're going to do that for part of your investment, right? So it's not like, I mean, you could cash out now, right? You could, but obviously that wouldn't be very smart long term, because there's just so much more on the table to make.
Exactly.
So, what do you make of the story? It was a story I brought up yesterday, and it was about the guy around your age. He had there was like a follow-up story about him. Actually, it wasn't while you were on, and I circled back to a follow-up story on the guy that was around your age out in LA, who put his life savings into Doge at the beginning of February, and to the tune of $180,000. And when it went up to in the 40 cents, he found himself with about $2 million. And then they followed up with him. Newsweek followed up with the guy, and he didn't sell at all. He's still holding. And then the financial advisors associated with Newsweek were just saying what a tragic mistake this was, and how just ridiculously foolish it was and naive for this young man not to cash out when he could, and how he'll never see that kind of amount again through Doge. And I guess my first thought to that, Nick, was, I'm like, you know what? These are the same people that would have told you that there is no way Doge would have gone to 45 cents to begin with. So,
sure.
And
what I don't know who these financial advisors are, but they're god awful, because they clearly didn't take into account the fact that this man would certainly suffer the effects of short-term capital gains. So that 2 million would have turned into less than $1 million really quick. And his entry price was 180,000. So you're talking about a gain of I don't know, $500,000. I mean, is that worth it? I don't think so. If you're gonna really risk it all, which it sounds like he did, wait a year. You gotta wait a year. Like, unless your gain is exponential. Like, I mean, you would have had to have made, let's say that this gentleman made, like, I don't know, 50 million or something like that. Okay, there could be some sort of argument made, like, okay, listen, you're gonna pay, you cash out, you'll lose 25, but you'll be up 25. The 200 you spent will be negligible. Okay, I could understand that. But who are these financial advisors who are saying, just wipe the short-term capital gains and walk away with less than $500,000? I mean, to me, it just doesn't seem. It just seems, so short-sighted, and really just like, I can almost guarantee you all of those people are over the age of 65 and probably retiring very soon. So they might not have the same financial plans that a late 20-something or early 30s person might have.
Yeah, and I think this is really kind of indicative of the total disconnect we have here between, and it's not just like an age thing because, I'm going to get to this. It's one of the stories I'm going to get to after you have to go, but I've been seeing it's more like an elitist thing within their own bubble, right? Where these very powerful, connected folks in the corporate media, the ones that even know anything about crypto at all, they're in this like elitist bubble where the only valid, credible cryptos are Bitcoin and Ethereum and maybe ADA for some of them, but that's it. That's it, right? And it's just so funny to see this kind of just archaic thinking applied by people just as young as you and even younger that I've seen, but the difference is they're just in this this kind of corporate media bubble, and they're like they hire like the younger person to have like their token crypto expert on they can pull on once a week to get what's going on. And it's really astounding to me just how unambitious and intellectually lazy these people must be. They have access to all the same internet and information that we all do here, and here they're being paid top dollar to give their opinion on cryptocurrency. It's their job. It's literally their job to bring that skill set to the table more than anything. And they're making six figures to do that, and then they go on the air, and then they just take a giant steaming dump on the air, and you just like listen to everything that's coming out of their mouths, and it's just so archaic. It kind of reminds me of like a combination of like listening to maybe Peter Schiff and the CEO from ADA all in one. It's just,
well, even it's so funny you mentioned that, because even Peter Schiff has been posting pro Doge stuff
I know
recently.
I think he's doing it to get his son's. I think he's doing it kind of to get his son's goat, because his son's kind of like a Bitcoin maximalist. So
oh god, I think it's hilarious.
I think it's awesome. I've always liked I've always liked, despite Peter Schiff's disparaging opinions of crypto in general, but he really hates Bitcoin for some reason. I've always found Peter to be very entertaining, very entertaining personality.
Yeah,
go ahead, Nick.
He is extremely entertaining, and I told myself, when Doge first took off, I was like, man, the day that I see Peter Schiff tweet about Doge is the day that hell freezes over. And just one more reason why I knew I was right the whole time. I was like, if Peter Schiff ever tweets about this, it is for sure. I know what's happening here. And sure enough, Peter Schiff comes through and yeah.
For those of you,
thought it was so cool.
It's really cool, Nick. And for those of you who don't know, Peter Schiff's like a chief economist and global strategist. He's been around a long time, and he also runs
tax evader.
And yes, yeah, and he also runs his own gold company, just called Schiff Gold. So obviously, that's another reason why he's so bullish on fiat and gold over cryptocurrency. But what we're talking about is when Dogecoin went parabolic about 2 weeks ago there, he was saying, wow, it looks like he's something to the effect of just saying it looks like Dogecoin's going to be outperforming Bitcoin. And he said, it looks to me like Dogecoin's just going to outperform Bitcoin and ETH in the future, he basically said.
Yeah.
So here it is. I actually pulled it up right now. This was back on, he tweeted about it a couple times on April 16th. He was talking about tweeting about Dogecoin for a couple days in a row here. So it's pretty interesting, guys. So I'm going to read these tweets. Dogecoin may have been created as a joke, but now keep in mind, this is all coming from Peter Schiff, who just hates crypto. So you gotta put it in context. But he's just, despite that, I still find the guy pretty funny. So he says, Dogecoin may have been created as a joke, but all cryptos are jokes. The problem is that the Kool-Aid drinkers haven't gotten it yet. The irony is that Dogecoin may very well end up being the punchline to the joke known as Bitcoin. But instead of Bitcoin holders, but instead of laughing, Bitcoin holders will be left crying. He's just savage. So then he follows it up with Bitcoin just isn't cool anymore. Who wants to own the same old-fashioned cryptocurrency their grandparents own? Who wants the same old cryptocurrency the hedge fund and Wall Street and banks owned? Dogecoin is hip. Dogecoin is where the future is. Bitcoin is for squares. Get with it.
I love it.
And then I'll just read the last tweet that he talked about Dogecoin in. Peter said, Bitcoin had its day just like gold did, but now the torch has been passed, so something newer and better suited for the modern meme investment style. Dogecoin is the new kid of the block that captures this digital zeitgeist. Bitcoin was the new gold. Now it's the old Dogecoin. And I it's part of it is obviously a big part of it's trolling, but it's also a part of it's truth, right? So him and his son have major disagreements. His son's a Bitcoin maximalist, so I think Peter was just having a really good time getting his son's goat there. Just really funny to read. Let's see. Doge is the future, says Beef Supreme in all caps. I love it. 30 cents tonight. Let's go. I think it's possible. Tom Lee seems pretty bullish on crypto. Yeah. Binance goes down so much, I'd make a killing on the streets. I'm actually been buying more BNB coin. I think BNB is going to keep going up. I think it's a pretty turning. I think it's going to end up in what I would consider to be a solid long-term investment. I
have $100,000 of BNB.
Very wise. And how long have you had that BNB?
I bought it 5. So.
Oh wow, great. Yep. Yeah, and BNB's already just been making really big strides. I think predominantly I would attribute that to this emerging fringe altcoin phenomenon because BNB is the predominant conversionary token for all of these more uncommon, underground, seedy cryptos. So BNB is kind of like the go-to for them on PancakeSwap. I now refer to like PancakeSwap as PancakeSwap coins as the red light district of crypto.
It really is. Like my buddy tried to get me into PancakeSwap stuff, and I felt like it was just dirty. It's like I don't know if I can do this, man. But
yeah, it's
yeah,
it's the red light district of crypto, and I do mess around with PancakeSwap here and there, but it's obviously definitely a small portion of my portfolio, and I'm always very careful when I visit. So, I worry BNB could be short-lived if Ethereum fixes its gas prices. Gremlin, that's a valid concern to have, but I guess I would say I'm less concerned about it because, again, Ethereum isn't what what the altcoin scene is using as conversionary, and it never will be because of the gas fees. So BNB is that coin is kind of like become the go-to coin for all these smaller altcoins to use as their conversionary currency, and I don't see that. I only see that the popularity of that expanding. Now, I'm not saying it's going to expand to where it's going to take over the market. It's still going to be a minority within the market, but it's going to be more of a. I think it's here to stay, you guys. I think the red light district within crypto, it's here to stay, and it's you're going to only see more coins that are in that vibe. But I also don't think it's going to be taking over like a huge portion of the market. I know there's been talk like, Bitcoin's down now, so this means it's because everyone's flocking to DeFi tokens, and is that what's going to happen now? Not really. Hard to say, but I don't think it's going to be enough to dethrone Bitcoin and dethrone Ethereum. So yeah, you just got to be careful. You got to be really careful out there, guys. You got to be really careful out there.
I'm going to get rolling.
Yep.
I did appreciate it tonight. I think I might take tomorrow night off. I don't know. We'll see.
Problem.
Tuesday, my girlfriend and I are going to see Mortal Kombat.
Oh, so awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I saw the trailer.
I'll be out of here on Tuesday, but I will be around all week. You guys have always been a blast, and I look forward to seeing what happens with Doge next week. It is going to be an interesting week for sure. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Nick. This is great having you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. You guys have a great stream.
All right. Thanks, man.
Later, buddy.
Yep. That's Nick Balls, everyone. Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls headed out there. Thank you, Nick. And guys, welcome. If you're new here, this is Steven Steele Live, and we're happy to have you. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that you know every time I go live. And you don't want to miss it. I've been streaming pretty regularly. We have a really, I think, unique format here that you can't get anywhere else. It's obviously very crypto-centric, but it's more of a talk show kind of freestyle podcast format where we don't just exclusively talk about crypto, but we keep it on the charts, so we talk about a variety of things in entertaining ways, I think. And then if you haven't hit that like button, please smash that like button right away. It's the number one thing you can do to help a small stream like this get up into those YouTube algorithms. And lastly, if you feel compelled to support the show through Superchat, that is always bigly appreciated. And you can do that through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. And it's actually pretty easy to Superchat through Stream Elements. So there we have it, guys. Another story I wanted to get to is Lil Pump, the rapper Lil Pump, aka Gucci Gang. He is doing a social token called, you guessed it, Pumpcoin. You couldn't see that coming, could you? So Lil Pump's a 20-year-old rapper who appears to be following the Lil Yachty crypto playbook, a token sale, a non-fungible token auction. And that's going to be on the Winklevoss-owned Nifty Getaway. And this comes courtesy of CoinDesk. And CoinDesk writes, Lil Pump, whose real name is Gazi Garcia, is banking on his 25 million social media followers to take ownership of a Pump coin, which, similar to a recent string of experiments with social tokens, will give fans exclusive access to the Colombian-American singer. According to FIO's site, Pump Coin token holders will have the opportunity to play Call of Duty NBA 2K21 live with Lil Pump. Never has there been a greater need for artists and fans to create a new way of engaging, given the lack of industry events from COVID-related shutdowns. Co-founder of Zurich-based FIOS said in a statement, social tokens are a way for artists and other personalities to potentially monetize fan engagement. The Yachty coin sale last week raised at least $276,000 for the Atlanta-born rapper. Lil Yachty's digital collectible sold for $16,000 this week to Bill Lee, a general partner at early-stage VC firm Craft Ventures, who sniped the NFT from the Bitcoin billionaire Tyler Winklevoss at the last minute. That's hilarious. I did not know that. So Tyler, one of the Winklevoss twins, Tyler Winklevoss, was trying to win a a Lil Yachty digital collectible in an auction. Tyler Winklevoss. I'm just take a moment to envision Tyler Winklevoss just on the edge of his seat in front of his computer bidding on a Lil Yachty digital collectible. And then at the last minute, he loses that to a guy named Bill Lee. And he says, "Darn it. I thought this Lil Yachty NFT was mine, but it went to Bill Lee. Who the heck is Bill Lee anyway?" I'm looking up his Twitter right now. He's he's somebody, I guess. He's got over 50,000 followers, maybe because of the press he's gained from just being a big investor in NFTs, it looks like. Well, good for him. Good for him. Anyway, that's kind of a funny little story there, isn't it, guys? Funny little story. Beef Supreme, the surge is coming. Okay. I got to do a little trailer for my man Beef Supreme. This summer, a surge is coming. He can feel it. Pump coin. No, it's not that. It's the Dogecoin. Let's go to 30 cents, $1, and beyond. Even up to $100. Don't miss it. This summer, Beef Supreme stars in Dogecoin. All the way to the mat. Rated PG-13. Lil Yachty is like a little boat. Yeah. Can't say I'm a big fan of Lil Yachty's music. I've heard it. All right, guys. I don't think I've ever done a movie trailer this early in the show. Okay, next story. Let's get to some stories. There's some content I wanted to get to you guys tonight, share with you guys tonight, talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk, gang. This is an article from CoinDesk, I thought was pretty interesting, called Dogecoin, the New Meaning of Money. Dogecoin's popularity reflects big power shifts due to social media and twin financial crises. There's no more important story for the reimagination of money. This is a very interesting way to perceive what's happening with Dogecoin. I think it's very provocative. This is written by Michael Casey. He goes on to write, an ugly week for markets. It's striking crypto news that caught even more attention in the mainstream media was not Bitcoin's whopping 24% drop from its peak early Saturday morning, but Dogecoin's spectacular rally earlier in the week. The week's column dives into why that phenomenon, but literally built on a joke concept, is not something to be laughed at. The surprise clout of the Doge mob speaks volumes about how power is being redrawn in the digital age. I like the way this guy thinks. The Doge age. A part of me worried I was giving into temptation by writing this column. There's an understandable concern within the CoinDesk newsroom that covering Dogecoin could give signal that we favor for easy clicks from fanatics over the risk of encouraging bubble-fueled investments in a coin with no inherent technical advantages. But then I read Max Reed's excellent piece on the future of money from last week, which inspired a delightful New York Magazine cover that asked a question: can I SPAC my stonks with NFTs? I now realize, hear me out, that there's no more important story to the reimagination of money right now than Doge's crazy price surge. Let me read that again. He says, I now realize there's no more important story than the reimagination of money right now than Doge's crazy price surge. Pretty epic statement. He goes on to write, Doge Mania. That'd make a good t-shirt, by the way. As exemplified by the cryptocurrency community's failed quest last week to get its price above 69 cents on Tuesday. Doesn't just seem frivolous, it is, yet there's real serious money at stake. In that sense, Dogecoin's wild ride encapsulates an important movement in human history. Society's traditional story of money is breaking down, where new head-scratching concepts like special purpose acquisition companies and non-fungible tokens are flourishing, and where fun and games and mob buying can overwhelm markets. Doge is a part of an intense competition for meaning within the world of money, a testament to the 21st century power shifts fueled by two separate financial crises and by the rise of social media networks. Really well-written story here, guys. Really well-written here story. So, I'm just scrolling to the bottom of the story because it's very long. It's very long. I don't want to exhaust you guys with it. Yeah, it gets so in depth. I'm gonna actually post the link to the story in case anyone wants to nerd out and read it. But I got to give kudos to Michael Casey from CoinDesk, really hitting it out of the park on this one. I think history is going to vindicate his work here in 2021. I think he's going to be viewed as a very smart man in a couple years. Or less. Amazon needs to make the first move. We need to come together and get Walmart or Amazon to accept Doge. Well, there is a campaign to get Amazon to take on Doge. And the new CEO that's taking over Amazon is very open to. He's a crypto enthusiast, so who knows? Kevin asks, yo, Steven, do you still talk to King Valhalla? Not really. Steven, can you throw a party when Dogecoin gets to $1? Dogecoin to the moon. I will. Once Dogecoin gets to $1, I will try to set something up. I think that would be great. I think that'd be great to have. I think that'd be great to have all the viewers in one big room to party. Maybe rent out. I don't know. Rent out someplace cool. Why not? We could all converge into a warm climate and just party for a few days. Hey, what's up, Maz? His channel got taken down. I don't know why. He's reemerged with like a different branding, and now he calls himself King Valhalla. Now calls himself the SafeMoon chairman, and that's the last I heard. Steven, you're from California. I'll be there to your party. I'm not. I'm from the Midwest. I'm in a city in the Midwest, but I got a lot of friends in California, a little bit of family too, and I'm certainly no stranger to California. I used to be out there quite a bit, so I wouldn't be opposed to putting that party on the West Coast. Why not? Next story, guys. Next story. This came out from USA Today. Is actually through one of the writers of the Motley Fool, who's writing is usually pretty unimpressive in the crypto sphere. So just a heads up on that. Motley Fool, I actually think they do a pretty decent job on stocks. But anything in the crypto sphere is usually pretty shaky. Once in a while, they'll come through, though. But I think there are things in this article that I think they got wrong, but overall, it's surprisingly fair, I think. It's a little bit biased, but not nearly as biased as their articles normally are when covering Dogecoin. And the name of this article is Dogecoin's Still a Joke. It is favored by Shiba Inus worldwide. The cryptocurrency was designed as a lighthearted alternative to more serious digital platforms such as Bitcoin and Litecoin. The semi-serious push from Elon Musk and concerted effort from the Reddit community known as Wall Street Bets has shown Dogecoin in a different light. The coin now stands among the 10 largest cryptocurrencies by market value and number 4 in terms of daily trading volumes. Wow. Dogecoin has exceeded parent currency Litecoin, from which the cryptocurrency's technology was copied, with a couple of tweaks in both of these metrics. To be clear, Dogecoin's market cap of $40 billion is comparable to auto giant Ford in trading volume and heavy hitters like Apple and its $13 billion daily trading volume. This humble token is moving a lot of money right now, almost demanding to be taken seriously. Yeah, you think? Welcome back. Welcome to the party, Motley Fool. Better late than never. Better late than never. Dogecoin's technical underpinnings were always quite serious, correct? Being a near perfect carbon copy of those of Litecoin, which in turn relies on blockchain technology snagged directly from market leader Bitcoin. The differences are small and technical in nature. They are and they aren't. I can get into that in a moment. Litecoin and Dogecoin rely on different encryption algorithm for Bitcoin, correct? Only time will tell, of course, for now. Only time will tell, of course. For now, Dogecoin remains a bit of a joke, but the digital currency might be going places that call for a suit and tie soon enough. I'll take it. From the Motley Fool, they're usually so incredibly disparaging of Dogecoin that, I'll take it. This is an improvement for him. What do you say, chat? Beef Supreme says Dogecoin to 420. What do I feel about SafeMoon? Oh, man. The question, right? The question. Guys, before I get to that, if you haven't hit the like button, press that like button. It's the number one thing you can do to help a new show like this get up in those YouTube algorithms. It takes a split second of your time, doesn't cost you a dime. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up, that'd be much appreciated. Also, if you're new here, subscribe, join us, join the Crypto Vampire set, join Doge After Dark. We are the vampire class of cryptocurrency. Love to have you along for the ride all the way to the moon. So subscribe. And lastly, if you want to support the channel through Super Chatting, you can do so through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. It's actually quite simple to Super Chat through Stream Elements, and those donations are very, very appreciated. You can put whatever questions or comments you want in those Super Chats, and I get to them thoroughly. My opinion on, someone asked about, a couple people asked about my opinion on SafeMoon. My opinion on SafeMoon is pretty nuanced. In all honesty, I'm just not quite sure how to feel about it. I do have an investment in it. But I do have questions, and I think it's an interesting experiment, and I think it's possible that SafeMoon could just really do big things, as far as it could really continue to do really big numbers. I know some people have made pretty good gains off of it. Some people have also lost some money off it, so you just got to be careful. But we'll just have to see. It's kind of an experiment, and there's a lot of factors at play. So I have an investment in it, so it'd be nice if right now that investment is making me money. But you know, hopefully it continues to make money. We'll see. Oh, sorry, I gotta fix the screen here, guys. I don't know what it all of a sudden just like started tweaking like that. Let me fix it. That's not the way. It's weird. My screen just automatically did that without me touching anything. It took my picture out. What is going on in the world? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, it just kind of did that automatically. And now I got to resize this thing. I got to resize it. What the heck is going on? Okay. You might be right. Look, Tulip, we just got to see how it plays out. See, I was examining some of the metrics with SafeMoon actually today, and it appears to me that it's pretty clear to me that so when you sell SafeMoon, you lose 10% of it when you sell. You get taxed 10% when you sell, and the idea is that that's supposed to encourage more people to hold, in theory. And on its face, it does sound pretty good, but so for then 5% of that goes to a token burn, and the other remaining 5% of that goes back to the holders. So so there's that. But I'm just kind of wondering what there seems to be a pretty big disparity between how much of that 5% goes to smaller holders versus the SafeMoon whales. SafeMoon whales get way more of that 5% than everybody else, which I think can inevitably, I don't even saying they meant it for it to do this, but it could inevitably lead to some serious stagnation in market value for them. We just kind of have to see where it plays out. So I'm not saying there's not a lot of money yet to be made on SafeMoon. There very well could be. I just don't. It is still a very volatile, a much more volatile coin in my opinion compared to Dogecoin. So just make sure you don't make any huge investments there that you can't comfortably afford to make. And I guess I would just leave it at there. Correct. Rarenium 2500. That is correct. So let's see here. Stephen, are you in Iowa by chance? I am not. I am a bit north of there. I am in a major city in the Midwest, not in Iowa. Steve, can you please give a shout out to Gazoo? What is up, Guzu? Guzu. All right, guys. Next story. What's up, Schmoody? What's up, Joe Greenfield? I'm going to the next story now, guys. Going to the next story now. Okay, guys. Pulling it up right now. Will Jeff Bezos invest in Dogecoin? Experts explain what would happen if he did. Jeff Bezos could push Dogecoin to a new level, group of analysts say. A group of cryptocurrency analysts recently suggested Amazon founder Jeff Bezos may be the one investor who could push Dogecoin's value over the dollar mark. The crypto analyst YouTube channel SafeMoon recently suggested that an investment from Bezos would mark a massive turn in the success of the meme-based cryptocurrency. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious, Mr. SafeMoon. Of course it would. Of course, it's only just a rumor at this point. That's correct. But Bezos wouldn't be the first investor to celebrate Dogecoin, obviously. So, you know, it's interesting that there's even chatter of Jeff Bezos seriously becoming a major investor in Dogecoin. It's just interesting to me. And it's mostly based around a contract. Rather a petition that was circulating that got a ton of signatures for people asking Amazon to take Dogecoin as a form of payment. And it definitely exceeded its goal above and beyond. And that seemed to get, I think that's what really kind of set off all the chatter for this. And then it turned into a hashtag, Dogecoin for Amazon or whatever. And so that's what started to get some press about it. So, who knows? The new CEO of Amazon is a crypto fan. He trades crypto. And so who knows? He might be open to it, and Jeff might be open to it. It's a possibility. There's nothing concrete to the story yet, but I'm sure Jeff at least knows what's going on now, though. So who knows, guys? The Doge YouTube community is so strong. Agree. Go Bears. Someone's from Illinois. What is up, guys? What is up? Walmart and Amazon need to accept Doge, correct? That would be massive game changer, obviously. Massive game changer. Next story. So I'm going to talk a little bit about James Bond. I grew up on James Bond movies, reading Ian Fleming novels, and my Doge is barking. Louis, chill, dude. It's okay. It's okay. This dog thinks he's a lot tougher than what he is. He's a very small dog. So yeah, James Bond. So I grew up on Ian Fleming novels, and those are the novels that James Bond films are based on. And I grew up on all the films and everything. And I came across an article about, by Wired magazine, why James Bond film will never premiere on Netflix. And it just goes pretty much, the summary of the story, you guys, just goes on to explain about how there's particular kinds of blockbuster movie franchises that have in the wave of the COVID and the pandemic, which greatly compromised the attendance of people physically going to movies. And so that's forced the movie industry to revolutionize the way they do business and try to get people pay to stream, pay to play, streaming new movies from home. And then they were talking about how James Bond films will never premiere that way, just because there's certain particular kinds of blockbuster movies that are only successful in the theater, premiering in the theater. And James Bond movies are one of those kinds of franchises that people really enjoy going to see in person, in the theater. And that They probably wouldn't even make their money back in the James Bond movie if they premiered it streaming. And I agree with that. And, this kind of poses an interesting question, right? Where are we even, I mean, we've been in this pandemic for over a year now. And it's, at what point are people just going to resume activities in a somewhat normal fashion, particularly with movies, right? Movies are one of those staples. And now we're wondering if the movie industry is going to be so permanently, radically hit, even after people start feeling more comfortable going about back to their old social lives or something that kind of looks like it. So now they're wondering if there's even a future for movies like this anymore, right? As a consequence, and I think that's really unfortunate. And then another thing too, it's like a twofold thing where some of these films, like some of the writers now, they're tampering too much with the formula just to be viewed as very progressive, but they do it to the point where it's very forced and it's ridiculous, where they just end up changing the very fundamental attributes of the main characters. We saw this in 2016 with or 15 or 16 with it did pretty poorly too in the theaters with its release with it was like an all-woman Ghostbusters with now, not to say that the lineup wasn't full of talented women. Kristen Wiig was in it. I really like her. McCarthy lady, I think she's funny. I can't say I'm a big fan of the woman that's also on Saturday Night Live. I don't know, I just never found her very funny. But my point is, here they took the Ghostbusters and they just turned it into an all-female cast. And then they turned the secretary into the guy that plays Thor, whatever his name is, that heartthrob guy, Chris Hemsworth. And they just did it to be like, this is what we're supposed to do now. It's almost like overcompensation from our past. We overcompensate, and then you swing too far hard the other way. I don't know. It just seemed, and it didn't work, right? I feel like if you want different representation like that, if that's super important to you, write new characters. And I just bring this up because with James Bond and the newest film script, they're talking about making James Bond a woman and all this stuff, and I still think they're probably going to do it with the next couple of films. And it just gets to the point where you're like overcompensating to the point where it kind of takes the magic and the reason why people go see these characters that are based on certain stories and narratives that just get so radically altered. It's not even the same movie. So, yeah. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Read the chat right now. Vampire Kangaroo, I agree. Pink Tuba says they overdid it. Any movie really. Agree it's forced. Bill Murray is a legend, 100%. And yeah, if you want to start like a different franchise, I don't have a problem with it. Like if you want to start like a new franchise for like Jane Bond or something, then fine. See how it does. Let it stand on its own merits, but I've just been noticing this trend in Hollywood where they subvert well-established characters that are have a very dedicated fan base, and then they just crap on that fan base by fundamentally altering the main character. We saw this in which Star Wars movie is that? The Last Jedi, where I don't know if any of you guys have seen The Last Jedi, but there were moments in The Last Jedi that were very depressing, and they made, and then Luke Skywalker was killed off in The Last Jedi, and they made him out to be very weak in that movie and kind of pathetic. And that's how he ended. And a lot of Star Wars fans were really confused by that movie because it was so. Now, don't get me wrong. I think you should push the limits. Like I don't think it should be too repetitive and too derivative. You definitely want to keep the audience guessing and keep them on their toes. Like throw them a few curveballs here and there. But I'm talking about like you're fundamentally changing the main characters at their core. You're fundamentally changing the core ethos of a story just so you can be seen as edgy. It's just people like writers like this, and you're seeing this everywhere now, whether it's in film or television, and it's just so annoying. It's like, grow up, like have some respect. Like James Bond, for example, comes from a very rich, brilliant history of English writing and English novels and series that are written by a brilliant man. And so just pay some respects to the history while putting a modern twist on it, right? Instead of just fundamentally, purposely just taking a dump on it just so you can make a point. I think it's a very narcissistic thing to do as a writer. Anyway, Juan Bond, someone said. They need a Mexican James Bond then too. We'll call him Juan Bond. I would totally go see Juan Bond. I probably would go see Juan Bond. Just start a new series called Juan Bond. And Juanita Bond. Okay, Brandon, I'll check out the DMs. Yeah, I hear you. Look to leap. Yep. Erectile Reptile, super chat for $4.20. Thank you, Erectile Reptile. Appreciate that. Fact, he says, the average female consumes 6 pounds of lipstick during her lifetime. Is that true? Erectile Reptile always coming through with the fun facts, the quirky facts. That's a lot of lipstick, my man. That's a lot of lipstick. You know, it's another thing, too. I forget how many spiders we eat in a lifetime, but it all happens in our sleep. By the way, guys, Dogecoin just shooting up here finally doing something. I'm going to bring in some more detailed charting as it seemingly is spiking up here, guys. Just give me a moment. And let's take a little closer look at what's going on here. But I'm looking at a big green candle and another green candle forming here. And let's see if we can get this thing to 29 cents. Let's see if we can make some more movement here, guys. This is the most movement I've seen since we went live tonight anyway. A little bit of retracement coming in right now, but I don't think that's going to last long. So as you can see here, guys, huge green candle just went up here while I was finishing up our Juan Bond conversation. And another one starting up here. And we'll just see where it goes, but it's looking pretty good. Looks like we're going to smash back into the 28. Yep, and there we go into 28. Now we're at a level of resistance here. See if we can keep it going long, green, and strong into that at least 28.50. So we don't, yep, another long candle breaking out right now, guys. Really thick, long, green weenie breaking out. But it's gonna have to do better than that. Now here come a bunch of sells. Looks like we'll probably toggle back and forth right at that 28 cent for a bit before it has enough strength to push on. Lady Doge, welcome, Lady Doge. Good to see you. Good to see you. They need a film to tie Jane Bond to James Bond together. Call it Bondo. Bondo. Brondo, that was the drink, the electrolyte drink in Idiocracy. Of course, I don't need to tell Beef Supreme that if he's still in here. Beef Supreme went quiet. Beef Supreme stepped out to have a Beef Supreme. Erectile Reptile Steve, do you think Elon's latest tweet means he will talk about Doge when he wants to see how long it will take Doge to pump? To see how live Saturday Night Live is, it's possible. I'm giving it like a 50-50 right now. If Elon's going to explicitly mention anything Doge. I know he's got something planned. I mean, Elon is way too of a crafty troublemaker not to have something in the works there. Playing Halo and listening to Steven Steele. I like that. I like that. Good combo. Thank you, Sir Charles Steckler. The Thirst Mutilator. It's got electrolytes. Yeah, in the not so distant future, as it turns out. We'll keep an eye on this chart, guys. Right now, we are... If it breaks out again, we'll break back to it. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the next story here. Next story. This article is from... it's not even an article. It's just like a survey that Bazinga put out yesterday. And the survey was that they asked people was, if you had $10,000 to invest, would you put it in Dogecoin right now? Right now. Every week, Bazinga conducts a survey to collect sentiment on what traders are most excited about, interested in, or thinking about as they manage and build their personal portfolios. On Thursday, we posed the following question to Bazinga visitors. If you had $10,000 to invest, would you put it in Dogecoin right now? Here are the full results from this survey. And the results of that survey were 25.3% said no, they would not. And a whopping 74.7% yes. Yes, if they had $10,000 to invest, they would put it in Dogecoin right now. I thought that was pretty revealing. That was really cool. It was really cool to see that. It's a whopping 75% without hesitation said, yeah, I'd put 10K in Dogecoin right now. Next story. Next story. This comes courtesy of Inverse. Will Dogecoin reach $1 in 2021? Here's what you need to know. Although it has since decreased in value since last week, the coin is the sixth largest cryptocurrency by market cap at roughly $36 billion. For some perspective, the market cap of the second largest cryptocurrency, Ethereum, is currently $280 billion, and the market cap for the leading cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is hovering above $1 trillion. Why Dogecoin's price keeps going up? Dogecoin's prices have rallied in 2021 for several reasons. However, one major one is a seemingly ever-increasing positive cryptocurrency industry sentiment, and in turn, increasing prices of the coins themselves. In other words, it's not just Dogecoin, it's the entire crypto market, in part. But I kind of disagree with that too, because we've seen Dogecoin absolutely do independent breakouts to the likes we've never seen. So I don't think they got that aspect of it quite right. Visa and MasterCard are trying to streamline crypto payments on their networks. Tesla has started accepting Bitcoin payments for its cars and now holds some of the digital currency on its balance sheet. Even Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs will reportedly offer clients the opportunity to invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Reddit, Doge Day, and Elon Musk. Dogecoin versus Bitcoin is another part of this article. Mark Cuban, who announced in March that his team, the Dallas Mavericks, would begin to accept the coin as a form of payment. Other adopters include Latvian airline Air Baltic, electronics retailer Newegg, and luxury resorts group Kessler Collection. Will Dogecoin reach $1? Considering the coin has made roughly 5,000% gains in the past year, it's not ridiculous to assume that the coin could triple in value or more in time. One thing should be said here, that over the past few months, these incredible price increases have indeed provided opportunities to make money in the short term. In early February, enticed by a friend who is an avid Redditor, I put $50 into the coin on Robinhood, and it was at about 3 cents. This is what the journalist is saying. And I was able to double my money by selling a week later at 7 cents. What an idiot. I mean, what's $50? Why wouldn't you just leave the $50 in? He really just wanted to make that $50, and he couldn't hold on to it for more than a week. That is weak sauce, my man. That is weak sauce, my dude. Just think where his $50 would be, where it would be at right now. He's like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised when I made a small profit. Ugh. But regardless, he says, but remember the cryptocurrency industry is still young and volatile due to Dogecoin having a weak use case and no supply cap. Told two things that are untrue. I just don't know how these people keep getting the basics wrong. There is a supply cap, there's a soft cap, there's a soft annual. Number one, still false. Secondly, a weak use case. No, it's got the strongest use case out of the top market cap coins. It's lightning quick. It's dirt cheap on fees. It's got Flare integration network coming in. What in the world? How many times we got to go over this? But he also said, this author also said to his credit, so the answer is probably yes, the coin will reach $1. And then he says, will I be investing again? No, I will stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum, thank you very much. Okay. I mean, nothing against Bitcoin and Ethereum, I'm invested in both of those. But to make the leap, and this is the common narrative amongst the elitist crowd, is, oh yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only valid cryptocurrencies and everything else is a joke. I'm like, these people still don't realize that nobody's going to spend Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to absolutely fall on its face. And when it comes to the retail space, it's amazing these people can't figure this out. It's amazing they can't figure this out. Let me check out the chat, see what y'all are saying. Bro, look at 88 minute chart, insane. All right. Crypto game might not be for you, bro. Okay, that's your opinion. That's fine. I hate the tax we have to pay for crypto. Yeah, so if you, after you cash out, let's say after you cash out on the platform of your choice, if you just leave those gains on that platform for a year, the amount that you pay on capital gains taxes on that return goes down exponentially. Steven, do you know who Todd Hoffman is? The guy from Gold Rush? Yes, I do. I actually tweeted him yesterday asking him to come on the show. I'd love to have him on sometime. Let me check market round cap here, guys. So Bitcoin right now is about just barely under 50,000, and it's down for the day by 1%. But overall, Bitcoin's coming back fine, I think. Ethereum is running pretty steady at 2,200, down 5% for the day, but I think Ethereum in the long term is going to be fine. XRP is down almost 8% for the day. That's a lot. Doge, just to be clear, is up over 13% for the day as of right now. ADA, let's take a look at ADA, down 4% for the day. ADA kind of eating it right now, but barely kind of trying to come back over the last hour. We'll see how it does. XLM Stellar Lumens is hovering right along. Is down 4% for the day, but it seems to have started to be stabilized right now. Darthman says, I think Doge can reach at least $10 to $15, but it'll take a long time. Yeah, I think it could. It just will take years and years. How crazy are you going to go if we hit $1 during the stream? I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, I would definitely go crazy. I think we'd get a lot of viewers pretty quick. Yes, that's correct, essentially, RW. Guys, if you haven't hit that like button, please consider doing that if you haven't done it yet. It's the number one thing you can do to help a small new channel like mine get up on those YouTube algorithms. Also, if you're new, welcome aboard. Please feel free to subscribe and stick around. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you never have to wonder when I go live. And lastly, if you want to support the show through Superchat, that's hugely appreciated. And you can do that through the Stream Elements link pinned at the top of the chat. This is your man, Real Deal Steven Steele, coming to you live. It's about midnight 30 where I am. If you're out in the West Coast and in the California 11, you are at about 10:30 p.m. And if you are to the east of me or in Florida, it's about 1:30 in the morning. Thank you for the feedback, Gustavo. I might do market round caps a little more often then. This story comes courtesy of Markets Insider. This is interesting. 3 Dogecoin investors detail their experience in buying the cryptocurrency and share whether they're buying more, holding, or taking profits now. So I'm going to read the 3 participants in this article. One guy's name is Kevin, 23-year-old college student. Kevin told Insider he bought $800 worth of Doge in July 2020 as his first investment ever. He said the price of Dogecoin was about 3 cents. Is that right? It'd be cheaper than that. It'd be like a fraction of a cent. Yeah, fraction of a cent, not 3 cents. The coin looked cheap to him. He didn't think it would go any lower. Well, that's true. According to an account screenshot by Viewed Insider, he holds 230,000 Dogecoins worth, which is now estimated to be worth roughly $53,000 as of Friday. Lingard has held on to every single Dogecoin he purchased last summer and said he'd only consider selling it if it went past $1. So here's a kid that put in $800 into Dogecoin last year and turned it into almost $54,000, guys. Just wild. And he's a holder. He says, honestly, I feel it'll keep going up. I honestly see it hitting $1 in the near future, even at the end of this year or next year. As for tax purposes, I want to keep the coin for at least a year. See? That's what I tell you guys all the time. Smart kid. Very smart kid. For tax purposes, I want to keep the coin for at least a year, so I have to pay less taxes if I were to cash out. He said he's learned the value of patience from investing in Dogecoin and other cryptos. If he ever sells his Doge, he's planning on reinvesting profits into Ethereum. And here's the next person in the story. Another investor, Dogecoin investor, who heard about Doge Day on Twitter and bought in at 29 cents. He said he day traded $7,000 worth of Dogecoin and held another $7,000. He said he sold the coin on April 20th when it was 42 cents. I had a feeling that it was, as soon as it was going to hit that, it would drop. And he was right. I was going to reinvest again, but I just saw it consistently coming down, and then I just kept my profits, which was $18,000. Wow. He was fairly certain that Dogecoin would go up when he invested in it because it's like a hype stock. So here's a guy that invested in a pretty sizable amount in at the 29 cent buy-in and sold it at 42 cents for $18,000. I am mad at you. And the third participant, a guy named Mike, a day trader, self-described day trader, 23, said he bought 75,000 Dogecoins in a 15-minute trade. He says, I bought the coins and I sold them 15 minutes later. I made $500 profit. Corrigan told Insider I was more than happy with that. So who's the smartest of these three guys? Who's the smartest? I would say the second guy, you know, even though he shorted the stock, he did pretty well. I'd say he did pretty good, but I think the big smart runaway winner of the three is Kevin, the 23-year-old college student who bought $800 worth of Dogecoin last year to the tune of a quarter of a penny. And now has over $54,000. He's going to wait, he said, till at least $1. He's going to be sitting really nicely, guys. Good for him. Good for him. Let me get back to the chat. Take out 10K and hold the rest, Gustavo says. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, guys. I'm almost to the bottom of my story rundown. I'm going to get to one more here. And this is a guy that people consider a young, hip cryptocurrency expert who goes by the name Rand Nauer. He's co-founder of Crypto Banter. That's what they're calling a crypto breakout mini show on CNBC. Crypto Banter. Cringe. Guess what he says? And guess whose comment was deleted under the YouTube video where he's talking about Dogecoin? Mine. They deleted my comment because I set him straight. Basically, he says that, again, I just can't believe these people. He says that Dogecoin is simply a meme coin, a joke coin, that it has no utility and no purpose, and that people are foolish to be investing in Dogecoin, and that he says people need to stick to Ethereum and Bitcoin and nothing else. There's our crypto expert. CNBC's hip young crypto expert is telling people that the only cryptos they should invest in are Bitcoin and Ethereum. What a bore. And what an idiot. This guy doesn't know anything about Dogecoin. Again, the transaction speeds are much quicker than both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and its gas fees are much cheaper. And we're not even talking about the Flare network integration, which will be able to conduct third-party contracts faster and cheaper than Ethereum. And again, furthermore, Bitcoin is dead on arrival in a retail space. No one is going to spend Bitcoin. So Dogecoin's soft cap is tailored so that it can be affordably used for the masses and in everyday transactions, both large and small. And this guy's the resident crypto expert at CNBC. Okay, bro. He's making six figures for this garbage. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, guys. All right, gang. Well, I'm at the bottom of my story, my news roundup here. And I think I'll probably wind down the stream for tonight, guys. I think I'll wind down this show for the night. But I want to appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I am going to be on the air with Stain Alpha tomorrow morning at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that would be noon on Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be tag teaming with Stain Alpha on his channel. So look for that. Look for that, guys. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe and hit that notification bell. But yeah, I will be probably hovering around Twitter for a bit. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. And I hope we can continue to grow this channel. I really hope we can continue to grow this community. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And until next time, I will get back on. Put it this way, I'll get back on and stream later tonight if I'm awake, and I might be, and it goes above 30 cents. All right, guys. Thanks again. This is Steven Steele signing off.